Hi everyone, and welcome to our BSCF live streaming. Right today we have another interview where we take you to another of our companies in our industry, and we tell you something more about what we have, what are the jobs, what are the situation, what is the career, and anything around. So we are here together with Veronika today, that I'm happy to welcome. So thank you, Veronika, for being here with us. Hi.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So you are working in Zurich, that is one of the BSC companies, right? But I would like to know more about what you're actually doing effectively. So what's your role there, and what's the story?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working for Zurich for 7 years now. It is my first job after university, so it was quite a big transition, from the student life to actually starting my role at Zurich. And I worked for general insurance pricing, so that if you imagine, so for example, if you have a car, you have to buy insurance for your car, and I would be kind of the person who would determine the right price that the insurer wants to charge to make sure that they are covered, that their costs are covered, expenses and everything. So I did that for about 6 years, and last year I changed the role to a managerial position, and now I no longer work in pricing, but I work in portfolio management and performance management. So I basically look at the global results of the company, and I try to understand how different portfolios of different countries are doing, where there are any issues, where we should be taking some actions, and then I communicate it back to different stakeholders.
So, and what brought you from one step to the other one, right? Was your interest, or it happened? So how did you decide?
Well, I guess it was luck in part, and it kind of just happened. Because I was working for pricing and I was looking for a next step. I think that I explored a lot of different opportunities there during that 6-year period, and I was looking for something new, something different. And this opportunity opened up because the manager who was in this role was moving to a different branch in Zurich, to a different country. And I started basically just having conversations with different people, with my current manager, with my previous manager, whether they thought it would be a good fit, whether they thought that, the skills that I had would be sufficient, because it is a different role. It is something different that I do. And to just understand, whether I would be the right person for the job. I had some interviews, and then it kind of just worked out.
All right, let's get back to what you do, right? So tell me, let's say, assume that that I am my grandmother that has no idea about anything related to insurance or whatever, right? So how would you explain her it's your job as such, right? And what are the outcomes of that job?
Okay. So, well, I would kind of tell her that, she has a home. She has a place where she lives, and she has things that, she really cares about. And, if something would happen to that whole house, so for example, if there would be a fire, or there'll be a flood, or a pipe would burst, or anything like that would happen to her, then she doesn't want to be in a position where she has to fix everything on her own and out of her pocket. So basically that's where insurance comes in. So you pay a specific amount of money to the insurance company. The insurance company groups it from all the different people. And then if this happens to you or to anyone else, then the insurance company basically covers that. So instead of paying for, the disaster when it happens, you kind of contribute to a pool, and and the insurer then pays for it when it actually happens. And my role in particular in this sense is making sure that the insurance has enough money basically to do that, so that they are collecting enough premiums from the different people to make sure that when such a disaster happens or when such a claim occurs, that they can pay it out to the people who actually need it. So that's in short kind of what I do.
So my grandmother would tell you right at this point. No, that overall it's so I get the point a lot, right? But then how do you do that, right? So who are you contacting? How does it work? Maybe more in practicality.
So who am I contacting? Well, we have hundreds of people like your grandmother. And we basically collect that information from each and every person. So we know where each house is located. We know the characteristics of the house. We know who lives there. We know, if it's close to a river, so there is a high chance of it actually flooding and so on. And then we put all this data in a database. And we look at it, collectively. So instead of looking at the information from each individual person, we actually look at the different characteristics collectively.
And describe me basically what you're doing actually now. So as a manager, you have a team or responsible for. How did it change your role?
How it changed? Well, first of all, now I'm a manager, and before I was an individual contributor. So now I no longer have to just manage my own, work, but actually I have a team of 4 people. So I have to, specify the different tasks that they should be working on, make sure that they are done, make sure that we are moving in the direction that our different stakeholders want us to move, make sure that everything is done within the deadlines. So those would be some of my managerial responsibilities. In addition, another thing that I really enjoy is kind of not only thinking about my career, but also thinking about the career of the people in my team. So trying to kind of understand their ambitions, understand where they see themselves, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and try to fit the different tasks and the different jobs that we do to those ambitions. It can be challenging at times, but I think that when there is a fit, and when you see that someone is actually, excited about a new opportunity, then it can be very rewarding.
So tell me something more about as well, maybe nowadays, right? So where in this situation where we or many in the BSC, right, were starting working from home only, right? Perhaps it became different to handle teams that are sitting somewhere else than in your home. So how was it? How is it actually still currently?
Yeah. It was challenging. I think that one of the things that made it much easier than if I had to ever imagine going into the situation was that we had the right IT equipment. So, we all had laptops. So it was kind of a matter of when we got the announcement or when we started to get the feeling that maybe it's not as safe to be in the office and maybe it's better to remain at home. We kind of just, took our laptops and went home. So that was one thing that made it really much easier. And everything worked from home, which was actually also very good. All our accesses and systems and everything. But from, a people perspective, it's a very significant change. especially for my team. I'm quite used to speaking to the people in my team on a daily basis. We work on tasks together. So, they come to me, they consult on something, I give them an answer, or I see that they're struggling, so I go to them, or, I have a question, something that I'm not sure of, I go to them. So, and we sit next to one another. So we're really used to having that constant communication. And from the moment that we were at home, it was suddenly very, isolated, that we had some meetings, but it wasn't, it wasn't that natural to chat. But I think that we've been at home for 3 months almost now. So I would say that we really did get used to it. And we have so many tools nowadays that it makes it much easier for us to communicate. So we have video chats, we have all kinds of chat messages, or we use emails and everything. So I would say that from a performance perspective, I think that our stakeholders didn't see a difference. So it took us, of course, there was an adjustment period, but eventually, we got used to it, and we were able to, do everything that we do on a face-to-face basis, but just do it virtually.
Nice. And at the same time, a new routine got established as well, so you get more used to it. And what about the family-wise, right? Is it also from a management perspective, right, that you have people in your team that maybe have kids at home, or maybe husband and wife are just working in the same room and overhearing each other? So did it impact sometime or your routine, or how did you experience it?
Well, definitely. I mean, I think that was one of the most significant changes and most challenging things that I had to kind of get used to and overcome. I have a small son. He's 2.5 years old, and he would go to the nursery. So my time at the office was time that I was focused at work. I didn't really have to fulfill my responsibilities as a mother during that time. And now, because schools were closed, we are basically all at home. My husband is at home, I'm at home, and our son is at home. And we really had to get used to it, because, at first it was, oh, it's so cute. We're all together, and, my son was next to me looking at his cartoons while I was working, and it was fine. But eventually, that was not something that he was interested in. So he actually wanted to spend a lot of time with us, which is absolutely, understandable. But it was also challenging because both of us are working individuals and we have to fulfill some deadlines. So I think that what helped me personally the most was the flexibility that we were given. I spoke to my manager, and we had also communication from above that basically during this period when schools are closed, as long as my work is done and as long as I fulfill my hours, I can do it whenever. So my routine changed in a way that I now work early in the morning so that I can really spend some time with my son and really focus on his needs, and make sure that I play with him and go out with him and everything during the mornings. And when he has nap time, I work again, and just kind of shuffling it around. And of course the work day is kind of extended because I can start at 6 and end at 8, 9, 10 p.m. But in between I can actually spend some time with my son. So I think
it's a different way to think about our days at the time, right? So you break out your own day in chunks, and those chunks you manage to focus and do what you need to do. And it perhaps even a more free perspective than, because you can really adapt to every single difference. Nice. So maybe an advice for all managers, right, from your side, how to empower your team and this kind of flexibility. So what did you do?
Well, I would hope that I'm a good manager. I actually don't have that answer. I think that I am, but I don't know. But what I would say is try and understand the needs of each individual. Some people have kids and they have to spend time with their kids. Other people are alone at home. So it's important to think that, okay, they might get lonely and they actually might feel very isolated. Other people, have to travel far, so they actually might really enjoy the situation because they get to spend more time with their family and don't have to spend time commuting. So I think it's very individual, and I think that for me as a manager, the most important thing was to really try and understand the individual needs of each person and respect them, and try to not, make it easier for them by accepting their needs and trying to make sure that they can have as much flexibility as they can.
So it's about, getting closer to their perspective and point of view. That's very nice. And maybe for the students then, right? For whoever is looking for a job, right? So in one, or perhaps in Zurich or another of the BSc company. So what they would need to know and focus on now that they are maybe studying or finishing their studies to be able to get there, or maybe to follow a similar career than yours?
Well, for my career is a little bit complex. I'm an actuary by training, so that requires a lot of exams that I had to do still, that I've been doing for the past 7 years. And finally, I took my fellowship exam, and hopefully I passed. We'll see. So, of course, there is, that part that it is ideal that you do get some technical training, or that is relevant for the work that you're going to do. But other than that, I think that it's quite important to consider the culture of the company and to see whether it's a fit, because eventually you're going to be spending most of your time actually at work. It's 8 hours a day, and you want to make sure that it is a good fit. You want to make sure that you get along with the people who work there. You want to make sure that the values that a company holds are in line with yours, because I think that the moment that those two are aligned, you get very motivated, and it's much easier to be happy at your work and to maybe get promoted or to actually do your work very well. Because the moment that you feel that, okay, I really enjoy working for this company, I really like my colleagues, I like my boss, and I agree with these values, then it's very easy to do your job well, because you have that motivation, and the moment that you put that energy in, and you do it well, then it's easier to get ahead, and at the end of the day you come home with a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. And nice, it's true, like you need to be part. Now it's never anymore the question of what job you're doing, right? But also for who you're working, and if you are like the whole corporation. In some situation, that's part of the engagement. Maybe what is your engagement? So why you like to work for the employers you're working for?
I think that one of the things that we kind of already spoke about is that mentality that all managers care about the people in their team, and they actually want to see them succeed. So as a manager, I know that my role is basically take care of the people in my team and make sure that they're happy, make sure that they are on the right career path, and make sure that if they want to progress, that they do, and that I give them the support that I need, or the support that they need to actually progress in their careers. And I think that is the mentality that I've seen throughout the company. And I think I've had a number of managers through those 7 years, and each and every one of them I felt that really did care about me and cared about my needs. And also when I had a difficult situation at work or when it was really challenging, whether it was personal reasons or health reasons, or it was just overwhelming with the amount of work, I've always been met with support. It was always, that idea that you are a person first, your needs are the most important. And of course, we have to deliver the deadlines and we have to deliver the work, but you are a person first, and that is the most important part. So I think that makes me very motivated and makes me feel, very, very good.
Great. Anything else you would like to share with our audience about your experience in a BSc company?
I don't know. Another thing that I, for example, really enjoy with shared service centers is the fact that we do a broad range of things. So, we move from a very technical perspective. We deal with life insurance, general insurance, risk management, and everything. And because, people are usually or often, move from one team to the other, they actually get this really, breadth of knowledge of different things that are being done. And because people are very, friendly and open, it's actually very easy to, collaborate with people from different teams. So, for example, I know that I'm not that great at programming, for example. It's actually very, easy and natural for me to go to a colleague who is really good at this and is really good at programming, and he can help me out with this task. And my experience so far is that people are actually very open, to share their skills and to kind of help each other. And so that's something that I really enjoy.
Thank you so much, Veronika, for sharing with us. I think, it's a very interesting experience yours and a good career. So good luck for whatever is coming, right? Keep having fun, and wish you perhaps to connect again when there will be a next step or something else to share. So thank you so much. And to everyone that is watching, you can always keep asking, maybe even to Veronika, you can post a comment. We are able to reach to her, right, at one point. And for more, if you would like to know any particular experience, any particular story or career, we are here to bring it for you. So thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.
Thank you.